Ogo.
I'm here with my brother from. Oh, sorry. How am I doing the introduction?
No. It's
You're
okay.
supposed to be the
Just,
one.
you can introduce me, actually.
No.
Just introduce me.
You actually you're the host, so you should.
I'm the
introduce
host,
me,
but
yeah.
I'm not here to host people.
Okay.
I'm just here to kind of talk to you as my brother.
Oh,
honestly.
nice.
And today I'm gonna tell you what type of problems that you have.
True. And I'm also gonna tell you the type of problem you have as well.
Wait, do I actually have problems though?
Of course.
Jamie, come on.
But do you know what? I want us to start from here. It's actually amazing that I got to meet you. Was it last 2 years or last year?
It's been like
a year and
7 months,
7
right?
months, right?
Yeah, because we met in 2024 in around September, thereabout.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, there's something you said to me earlier today. You said, and I really love that advice. You said that, as a man that wants to be successful, you shouldn't always give easy access to people.
That's it from Jamie, guys. I'm introducing to you Jamie, who's been my really, really, really close friend, my Nigerian friend, the guy from West Africa, a brother from another mother. This guy is actually, bro, you're actually a very good guy, honestly. And in as much as we've had like problems, that is something that has to happen to someone for you to have a solid friendship.
True.
For the waterfall to sound amazing, it has to go through the hard rocks, man.
True, brother.
And for you to even get to the top of the Everest, it has to take a really rocky place for you to actually get a grip. So I can say that we've experienced a lot of challenges here and there.
Yeah.
It's just something brotherhood-ish, right? And when I met you, actually, it was just kind of like an answered prayer. I was very consistent with my prayer life at that point. I was like, God, I want you to connect me with great people. That was my prayer that week.
Wow.
And then he didn't connect me with great people, but he connected me with you.
Bro, I'm a great man. Trust me. I'm a great man, bro.
Yeah.
We're growing, actually. We are growing. But then the question I have for you, Festus, is this. It's kind of like, should I say mysterious?
Mysterious.
The fact that I'm from a different, from a different country, from a different culture, from just someone from a different place, and I'm very sure that you're not really familiar with having,
Oh no, my light just went off. I think it's dead.
It's dead?
Hapo iko sawa.
I really, really, really want to ask you this question.
Yeah, iko sawa.
Like, I really wanted to ask you this question.
What do you think, Boogie? It's good? Alright, bro.
So, as I was saying, I kind of find it fascinating because I know very well that I'm more like an alien in this country. Do you understand? And meeting someone that is not from your tribe or from your culture, from your country for the first time, and then you're able to click. I remember our first trip was to Diani, right?
Yeah,
I was there for like 3 days or 4 days, almost
I
5
think
days.
Was,
yeah. And then I thought, okay, I just need this guy to help me, create some nice videos as a cinematographer you are. And then you did that. It was amazing. I felt like, okay, that was where it was going to end. But then, all of a sudden, you're at my apartment, eating Nigerian food for the first time. So the question is, I'm kind of curious, what makes you feel so comfortable to me? Because I know very well, a lot of people, even here in this country, have this, bad, what is it call it? They have this kind of bad way they picture Nigerians, this bad image some Nigerians have here in Nairobi, you get. And I was so surprised you were this comfortable, coming to my place, spending not even one day, like almost a week. So, like, what really happened? Like, what did you see in me that actually made you, you know, that comfortable?
Bro, have you seen Nigerians in Kilimani? There's always a controversy that goes around them.
Yeah.
Oh, they're stealing our women. Oh, they are they are
spending
smoking.
money.
They spend a lot of money on
Yeah.
girls. I don't. Where do you guys get that money though?
Bro, I only know about myself, honestly.
Yeah, because a lot of Nigerians they spend money on women, do smoking, they would be drinking. I had this Nigerian friend initially before I met you. I don't think we actually clicked with the guy, but he used to spend around 35K on drinks every day.
Wow.
Just spoiling girls, and this guy wouldn't even give me 2,000 before but and I was
Wow.
even managing his business, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's crazy, but I can say that Nigerians actually have a really not very good reputation here in Kenya. Only a few that have actually have a really solid purpose.
True.
That's why they're here.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find someone who's real. It's very hard to actually even find someone, because you see, for me, I always make friends with people who love God, who talk about God, but I'm careful about it, because you shouldn't accept everyone who dress themselves as an angel and actually get to talk about God, easily. So I got to trust you because when you invited me to your apartment, there wasn't a smell of weed. There was not a smell of alcohol, and it was a really cool apartment. And then you and Daniel were talking nicely to me. And when I went back and told my friends that, oh, bro, I met Nigerians who don't smoke, they were like, yo, you got to be kidding me. A Nigerian.
Does that mean that guys here in Nairobi, they don't smoke? I feel like that's kind of like a universal thing.
Let me tell you something that you don't understand. We know that every Nigerian smoke because of every Nigerian who came here in Kenya, and we saw them smoking.
Okay.
So we even believe that y'all in your country do smoke.
Oh, wow, bro, what?
So meeting a Nigerian who doesn't smoke and who doesn't drink was actually just like a surprise, bro.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where is this guy coming from? Are they like? And you know what? I was like, since you don't smoke and don't drink, you are gay.
What day? What, bro?
Like
Hey,
this.
you didn't say that.
No. Yeah, I didn't say it, but I was like, okay, so this guy doesn't smoke and doesn't drink, and he's Nigerian. You told me that you had a project that you want to shoot. You want to venture into content. You want to learn color grading.
Yeah.
At that time, then I was starting to actually post my work, the one that we used to do with Boogie. And you were like, bro, this is actually very good work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, at least someone can see what I'm doing now. Right now, I don't really feel like my effort goes unseen. So I was like, now, since this guy is actually seeing my effort, this guy appreciates my work.
Yeah.
I was coming from a point of not being appreciated. I was coming from a point of me working on a lot of projects, but then no one actually really pushes me to become better as much as you did. No one really wanted to understand my goals better as much as you did. No one could tell me how good I am and how good I could get as much as you did. So there is a lot of perspective to friendship, and I felt like you brought in some new energy that I didn't use experience initially. It was such a beautiful thing. Yeah. And the fact that you were like, oh, bro, I was like, do you guys love God? Because you were there with Daniel. So I was like, do you guys know who Jesus Christ is? You were like,
Did you actually ask us the question?
yeah, you were like, bro, we always talk about God. And so you were like, oh, we are
Oh
now
my
clicking
God,
with this
really?
guy. Yeah, you were
Right.
like, yeah.
Honestly, I've forgotten. I promise you.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, but honestly, you guys were cool and we clicked. I mean, like, it's very easy for me to click with people, but it's not easy for me to stay.
The one thing that made me feel, like gave you the access to my life was because aside from you loving God, because it's not enough, everybody would say they love God. So I don't keep people as my friends because they love God. I feel like the reason why I love you is because you're selfless. You're a selfless person. You understand? You have that concern for people. You care about people. to an extent, it feels like you overcare. Like you feel bad when you can't do something for someone. You understand what I'm saying? So I observe that about you. I feel like, no, this guy is chill. You know, you're not greedy.
Yeah.
Let me just use that word. You're not a greedy person. No, honestly, I know I haven't said this to you, but this is what I've observed so far. You're not greedy. I know we haven't shared like we haven't gotten to that stage where we kind of like share money and get into a bigger business and all that. But I want to believe that this is who you are based on the few things I've seen about you, and also one of the greatest investment as well a man can do is actually investing in another man success. Are you getting me? So, but let me shift it in this friendship aspect. When you find a good friend, you can't buy it with money. You know, right? You can't buy a good. When I'm not talking about no man is good. We are all trying to be human. But when I'm talking about a good friend, I'm talking about someone that understands you, someone that will never betray you, someone that has your trust and believes so much in you, is there for you anytime. Genuinely, is hard.
But Jamie, I don't think you'd be my friend if you were poor.
Bro, I'm not rich either. We're just growing. But I made you my friend. You're not a rich guy, bro.
Yeah.
Boy, I made you my friend. So it's not really about money.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not really about money.
Because right now people gauge friendships in terms of what you could offer.
True.
Like, you don't offer anything, I'm leaving. People even say that you should leave your broke friends alone.
Yeah, that's true. But that's so wrong.
Do you think?
No, that's so wrong. I've met see, when I was in the UK. See, you're talking about Nigerians here in Kenya spending money, bro. Travel to the UK. Oh God, there are Nigerians suffering and there are Nigerians spending money. And I've met people that actually they are spending money. They are rich. These are people that drive expensive cars. You get? I was able to connect with them, but then I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's how I was brought up from my family. You get? I wasn't able to align with them. It's easier for me to just be like, oh, these people are rich, I want connection and all that. No. Instead, I feel more comfortable with people that, that are real, even though they are broke. And I had a friend, bro, this guy has similar character with you. His name is Henry. I think it's either you're older than him or you guys are the same age. You understand? And this guy has just the same attitude. He loves to help people. Not by giving them money, like, coming through for them when they need him, stuff like that. I was able to click with him, and till today we are still friends, even though we don't talk all the time. So, Jesus Christ didn't come for the rich. You understand? He came for people that needs help. And I feel like people that don't think about themselves and think about other people, it's easier for you to love them. You understand? So, in as much as they are not taking advantage of you, and I'm not taking advantage of them. And that's how friendship should be.
Yeah.
You understand? And there's something I've learned in the past 11 years from my friendship with Daniel.
11 years.
Yeah. Bro, I'm so lucky to have him for real. This is what I've learned so far. I've learned that friendship is just like marriage. Let me take it that way. It's just that marriage is you're having it with a woman, like the opposite sex or opposite gender. In a marriage, it's for better, for worse. Are you getting me? No matter what happens, whether you guys are fighting, whether you guys are broke, whether you guys are sick, in a marriage, the husband and wife, they are supposed to be there for each other.
Your wife is so beautiful, bro.
You understand? Thank you. So now, when it comes to friendship, we men, or let's say like friendship in general, people don't really understand that it's not about you taking advantage of people. Then you feel like, oh, he's my friend because I'm getting something from him. It shouldn't be like that. It should be, oh, he's my friend because he's always there for me, not because he's giving me material things and all that. He's always there for me emotionally. He has my trust. He cannot betray me. even though we fight, you don't judge me based on my bad side. You don't make me feel like I'm the worst person because I have a bad character. You endure my bad side. You know how many times you've provoked me. You know how many times, bro, a lot of
Really?
times.
Come on,
Bro,
bro.
I've not seen anyone in Nairobi that have provoked me like you, bro.
Bro,
I-
every time you do something, I just have to point it out, bro.
Bro, you are annoying, I promise you.
Oh, really?
Bro, oh God, bro, you are so annoying. There are
But
some days I'll
tell
be
me,
like,
wait,
there are
what-
some days I'll be like, yo, I want to cut this guy off of my life. Then I'll just be like, anyways, it's actually a calm, sweet guy. Let me just forgive him. You understand? This is how friendship is built. You get what I'm saying? And I know that times when I kind of like I've kind of like pissed you off,
A
or
lot.
provoked you. You
A
get,
lot.
and then you still feel like, bro, Jamie is I don't know what
Yeah,
you have in your mind.
sometimes
But I hope it's not because
Mm.
you think I'm not rich. I hope it's not because of that though.
Bro, you're not rich. I have
I'm
rich
not
friends.
rich. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a rich guy, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think. Bro, see, being rich is when you are financially free.
Yeah.
I don't have that freedom.
But you will.
Yeah, soon.
Definitely. That's why I keep you close.
Soon.
I'm not like here for the money, but I'm here for the money that will come. Yeah, honestly,
Bro, you're also gonna have the money, right?
Definitely. Now, I didn't ask you to be my friend, did I?
True. No. And I didn't ask you to be my friend as well.
Definitely. And then I remember this one time when I used to be like kind of like looking for a girlfriend, find a really fine girl. And then if they are like they can't date me, I'd be like, can we be friends? Do you think I was supposed to request for friendship?
When it comes to ladies,
Oh, when it comes to ladies.
I feel like a girl that refuses you, or refuse to be your girlfriend, I don't think it's okay for you to ask them to be your friends. Because, the fact they said no to you, there's a reason. You get. And the fact that you wanted them to be your girlfriend at first, I feel like at the long run, you keep lusting over them. Those kind of friendship normally don't last. That's my own opinion. I
Okay.
don't know.
That usually comes from a point of a friendship with benefits.
True.
You understand? So
Yeah.
people are always like, oh, now since you rejected me, can we be friends? It's like you're asking, how could you ask for friendship? People don't understand that friendship is something that you should earn.
True. Very
Friendship
true.
is a reward.
True.
Because you're giving someone access to your to your mental health,
True.
access to your family,
True.
access to your thoughts, to your property. You
True.
see, whenever we meet people, there's always a boundary. When we are closer to them, we shift our boundary line.
True. Yeah, that's very
When
true.
they get closer, we shift our boundary line.
Bro, that's
We
crazy.
shift our boundary line.
That's so true.
And it gets to a point where they now get into our nerves because we
Yeah.
don't understand the boundaries anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing you usually ask me, bro, why do you talk to me like this? Why do you talk to why can't you talk to Basi the way you're talking to me? Why can't you talk to Azim the way you're talking to me? Bro, it's
You
because
have to
you're my
call names.
friend.
You don't have to call names, my bro.
No, it's
okay.
but
Listen.
they're our friends, right?
Listen. Okay, listen. Let me explain this to you. You see, being in a friendship or having a friend or having someone you call your friend, and you feel like this person has actually shifted the boundaries for you, and bring you in. It doesn't mean they are stupid or foolish. You understand? Those boundaries are there for a reason, but they are not kind of like you're not subject to those boundaries because you guys are friends. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't respect it. And thank you for even saying this. That was another lesson I've learned between myself and my best friend. We respect each other's boundaries. So it's not that I can't just come and talk to him anyhow and provoke him and I will laugh because he's my best friend. I can do that. He might forgive me, but then I'm breaking the boundaries he have, and there will come a time when he's going to get pissed off or get tired of it. There's a lot of things, or there's an extent someone can be patient. There's an extent someone can actually tolerate something. So when it comes to friendship, we should always be self-aware that this person is actually my friend and he has boundaries. I shouldn't do such a thing to him. This isn't something that you should feel like, oh, why would I even think about it? Because if you really love this person, or you're being intentional about this person being your friend, this is something that should be your number one priority, to always respect their boundaries. Because the reason why he wouldn't allow anyone in is because he doesn't want anyone to break break their boundaries, or come take advantage of them. But he did that for you because he feels like you are more, you understand him more, you're more mature, and you're able to carry that friendship. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
So for me, I feel like just because the boundaries you're not subject to the boundaries, doesn't mean you shouldn't respect it. That's what I keep telling you.
Yeah.
Always respect people's boundaries, no matter how close. Like even if you are married, you should respect your wife's boundaries as well. Yeah, there should always be a boundary. There are certain things you wouldn't do. Like you can sleep out late, go drink, do party and all that.
Yeah, of course not. You can't.
And then she'll be complaining, why are you doing this? She's patient. But the moment you cheat on her, you've crossed the boundaries. That's a boundary. You shouldn't, you should always know where to stop. So it's the same thing when it comes to friendship. So the only way you can keep a solid friendship is when you guys respect each other's boundaries. That's what I believe.
Don't you feel like it's too robotic to actually have boundaries in friendship? I feel like friendship is all about learning each other. It's not like a business meeting where it would be like, oh, let's meet up tomorrow, let's have a meeting. And then we all like list all the things that we shouldn't do, all the things. It's all about understanding each other every day.
But that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, of course I understand that.
Okay, let's use God, for example.
Yeah.
Are you saying that God, our Father that loves us so dearly, more than anyone in this world, doesn't have boundaries?
He does.
He does.
That's why he gave us the Bible.
Yeah.
Rules.
Yeah. So, being my friend, for example, doesn't mean that, that's why I say you are not subject to the boundaries. Like, we are not doing our friendship based on contract or like a business partner or like writing list of what we have to do. Like, right now, this wasn't even planned. You didn't come here and be like, oh, Jamie, I'm having a podcast tomorrow. It's not like it's necessary, but this wasn't planned because we are friends. I had to show up for you.
Yeah, true, bro.
I don't know if you get my point. But then I should know that this person is human and he has feelings and emotion. And I should know that there are things that gets to him. So I shouldn't offend you intentionally. Yeah.
I think I'm a person who I need to train myself, honestly.
Yeah.
I promise too much. It gets to a point where I don't really disappoint people. Sometimes I would be like, maybe I have time.
True.
I'll think in my head, oh, I still have time. I'd wake up, let's say very early, and I'm like, oh, I still have time. 1 hour. Oh, 5 minutes. Then I now start, I all of a sudden need to start getting ready, right? And then I'd be like, oh no, I just disappointed this person. I'm now starting to feel bad.
Do you always disappoint people because you feel like you have time or because you have a tight schedule? Because that's two different things.
I do have a tight schedule, and then I think I have time. You understand? I'd be called by Boogie and be like, yo, Festo, let's shoot on Saturday. And then he tells me probably something like Saturday at 12, right? And then you call me also and you're like, bro, I really had something that I want you to help me. I'll be shooting it on Saturday. I'll be like, Saturday at what time? And then you say, I'll be shooting at 10. At 10, right? So my mind doesn't think we are shooting from 10 to what time. My mind just sees the gap that is in between 10 and 12. And I know that gap in between 10 and 12 will actually make me catch up with the shoot that I have at 12. You understand? So if you are Boogie now, I'd come to your place. Probably now I'm still late to come to your place because people with ADHD, I understand this, is that they're always late. They overpromise and underdeliver in terms of time. So I'd be at my place at 9 a.m. I'm like, okay, it takes me an hour to get to Jamie's place. So I'll start to get ready at 9. You see where my mind is coming from? Now I start getting ready at 9. 9:30 is already here. I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh no, I should start requesting an Uber. And now, by the time an Uber is at my place, it's already exactly 10.
Yeah.
You get? And now the time that we're supposed to catch up, that was initially 10, right? And now you're calling me. I'm like, I'm coming. I know I'm coming, right? And I assured you that I'm going to be on time. But I wasn't time conscious enough. And that is something that you are actually training me on doing. And I'm also training myself on that. And now by the time I'm starting your shoot, it's going to be at what time? 11-ish, 11:30. We're finishing the setup. And now since Boog is calling me, I'm not picking his calls. Then he keeps calling. I'm like, so I just kind of like go on D&D. I'm like, oh, bro, sorry, man. Oh, there's traffic. But I didn't actually tell him that I wasn't going to be available. But honestly, from my heart, I knew I really wanted to do it.
Yeah,
I knew I wanted to be there for Jamie. I knew I wanted to be there for Boogie. And I knew I wanted to be there for Sarah, anyone else at, let's say, 4 p.m. My cousin probably asked me to go and take care of their dog or something. And I'd be like, bro, don't worry, I'll be there. And when it gets to that day, I've already wasted a day. And probably I wasn't even productive enough because my mind is all over the place, right?
I feel you, understand. Bro. I feel you. Yeah. But I feel like your problem is actually an easy fix. And I understand the point where you want to be there for people, but then you can't really control time. And this is something I've learned from Basi as well, my friend, because if you have a friend, or you're in a circle where you say, oh, these people are my friend, and you're actually not learning anything from them. I'm not talking about learning how to chase women or learning how to do negative stuff. I'm talking about learning something that will be an impact to you. Then that friendship is invalid. So there's something I learned from him, which is being organized, especially as someone that wants to be successful.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know, see, the first question you should ask yourself is, how do you actually see yourself? How do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself as someone that is going to be extremely busy, extremely rich, that you have a very tight schedule where everybody's booking you face-to-face here and there and all that? If you start seeing yourself that way, you start preparing yourself for that person. Now, the problem is, assuming you have a calendar down where you can easily be like, oh, like for example, Boogie said, oh, Kay, I have a shoot on Saturday.
Let me tell you something.
Well, let me finish, sorry. I have a shoot. You already know these things, but I just want to say it out. I know you know these things. It's just for you to do it. Oh, Boogie calls you. I have a shoot on Saturday by 12. And then maybe Jamie calls you and be like, Festus, can you come on Saturday to shoot me around 10? What you should do is simple. Oh, I know we're friends, but this is business as well. You have to set your priorities right. You say, okay, Jamie, give me 2 minutes. Let me check my calendar. And then give yourself time to think. You check it. Oh, I'm not sure this is going to work because I have to be there for Boogie. And before I finish, because I like to take my time before I go out. So you use from 8 in the morning when you wake up, refresh, do your stuff till probably around 9:30, 10. Then you have to start going to Boogie's place to shoot. So you cancel every other appointment you have then. So you let me know, oh, Jamie, I'm sorry, I'm booked for this day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it some other day. It's so easy.
Jamie, you've taught me something that actually has fixed that a little bit. We are at somewhere. We are under construction, but at least it's something that's already working. Me being time conscious and trying to be time conscious, always trying to be there for everyone. You've taught me one thing, and that is to say no. Say no to anything that takes away my time in a negative way, or rather no to something that could let me inconvenience someone else.
True.
And Trevor Noah also told me something about if you have that kind of a problem, you're always wasting time, you're always not on time, you always try to be there for everyone else. Every time someone asks you something, the first answer should be no.
True.
The first, even if you know you're going to be available, just say no. You know, Boogie once called me and he was like, bro, I want us to do the Day After Love film. By the Boogie, I didn't have a documentary that I was working on. I just wanted to say no first so I can plan myself accordingly. So that if this thing was actually going to mess with my schedule, I at least have let him know and he's psychologically ready that I'm not going to be available. And that is why I am not going to disappoint him in any way. He's not going to think of me as a bad friend, but at least I've told him that I'm not going to be available.
Exactly.
And then the time that I'm going to be, I can still do a reschedule of a call. And if actually someone needs you actually, or rather if they don't find another way, if they find out another way of doing this, you have your time back. If they didn't have anyone else, you'll have your respect back now because you called back and said, hey bro, I'm just considering you for this and this. I've just had to move things around just to actually show that you respect their friendship. At the same time, you do respect yourself.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is something that I've actually gotten to fix, honestly.
Yeah. That's actually a good thing, bro. Honestly, that's actually a good thing because I understand when it comes to friendship, sometimes you still have to make yourself uncomfortable for your friend, still try to be there for them. But it shouldn't be all the time, which I understand. There's another thing I kind of observe about Nairobi. I don't know if Nairobi people, I don't know if it's just the few people I've met or is the culture. This is so funny. I don't know if I should say this, but
Okay.
this is so funny.
Say it. Yeah.
When I came to Nairobi newly, I met someone. I'm not going to say the name.
Mention their names.
Yeah. I met this person. Is actually a Kenyan girl. I met this person through my friend, and I was like, oh, she's cool. She's actually a lady. Okay, she does some kind of job. Then she came around. She did few things for us. It's not like we are friends. Like it's just someone that works for has a skill, and I invited her over to my apartment to help me fix something. And then we are just cool. You know how I behave. Like, okay, we are just cool. I don't treat people like I'm not too professional when it comes to. I don't want to be too professional with people. Like, oh, do this. That kind of thing. I try as much as possible to be friendly with them. So we are kind of a little bit close. Sometimes she just come to my apartment to pay us a visit and just chill. And then we give her Nigerian food. She's just laughing and So one day she reached out to me and was like she needed me to lend her money. I was like, okay, no problem. How much? She told me it was something I could afford at that moment, that she was going to pay me back. I was like, okay, I give it to her. Imagine after I give that money to her, this girl didn't talk to me anymore. Oh my God. I was like, what the hell? Like, you didn't talk to me anymore. It's not like I'm not even asking for the money back. After several months, like it's even more than 6 months, then she now reached out to me. I was like, she wanted to pay back. I was like, why? How?
At least she wanted to pay back.
Hers is even better.
Yeah.
Hers is even better. Like 3 people.
Bro.
The other person I met that still did the same thing. That one didn't even talk to me again. No.
So Kenyans have a habit of borrowing money.
I don't know. Like the question is it normal? I know it happens in Nigeria as well, but just that as we Nigerians, we kind of communicate. We'll let you know, okay, I don't have it now, but I promise to give it to you when I have it. But these people, they just ghost you.
Let me tell you something. As in Kenya, when we borrow each other money, I request you, Jamie, please, 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 lend me some money. Once you've lent me the money, you have to request it back. You have to say, please, give me back the money.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's what happens, bro.
So what if they refuse to give it to you back?
Then that's your problem.
Wow.
Because would you beat them up? It's really hard. I think it's a habit that people need to learn to just even return the favor.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a point even with my friends, like let's say Alvin, someone like Alvin to me
Mm.
is a kind of, or even Haron, is a kind of person I'd call him. I'd be like, bro, please send me 2,000. They'd send me 2,000. And then the time that when they're going to be in need, they'd be like, Festus, I want you to help me out. I need to sort out my Uber. Probably it's something like 1,500 or something. I'd be like, bro, I don't have 1,500, but I can send you 1,000. And after now I'm stranded somewhere else again. I'd call the guy again. I'm like, bro, help me with 700, Bob. The guy sends me 700, right? The other time the guy's gonna be needing something, I'd send him probably, let's say, 4,000. That's how money lending here in Nairobi happens, and even in between my friends.
That's not money lending, bro. That's you helping each other. See,
Yeah. So whenever you lend me money, I feel like you're helping me.
So when you're asking for help, it's different from when you're saying, bro, please give me, for example, give me 3,000 cash. I'm gonna pay you back next week. You see that word, or next month. That's you asking this person to loan you. But when you call me and be like, oh, yo, Jamie, please, can you help me with 500, please? I really need the money. And I give it to you back without expectation. Then I call you again and I'll be like, Festus, can you help me with this? That's different. That is you guys trying to help each other. It's quite different from loan. Because at that moment, you are asking for a specific amount of money for this person to lend you this money because I believe that you want to use this particular amount of money to fix a problem. And probably maybe that's my last cash with me. And I feel like, okay, this person really needs this money more than myself. And she's definitely going to pay back, or is definitely going to pay back. Now that's lending. Are you getting me? So I expect this person to pay me back because this person doesn't know the condition I was when they asked me for this money. And if I was able to lend you the money, you're supposed to pay back. But now, let me make this clear. If you ask me, yo, help me with this money, I'm broke. I really do not have this kind of money. And I give it to you, I'll be like, don't worry about it. That's me saying you don't have to pay back. Yeah. Or you are just asking, just help me with any amount of money. I feel like, okay, you just need a particular amount of money. Then if I have like 5K, I'm likely going to be like, okay, take 1K. I can just dash you 1K because I have enough. That's different. That's me helping you because you don't need a fixed amount of money. You just need maybe you just needed a quick help at the moment. You get my point. So I feel like it's kind of like, it's not a good thing for you to get a loan from people or ask people to lend you money and then you don't want to pay back because you feel, there's no need to pay back.
I feel like that's a universal problem, honestly.
Yeah, true.
And it's something that depends on maybe the upbringing, the character of someone. Because even myself, speak pidgin. Okay, even myself, I'd sometimes maybe lend someone money. And it's hard for them to kind of like give it back. There are people.
But that's not the problem, Festus. That's not the problem. See, them not giving you back is not the problem. It's them not communicating with you. See, there's two different things from, okay, I asked you to lend me money and then I gave you the money and then you just went ghost. You didn't talk about it. You see me and you be like, hey, hi, we'll talk, but you've never talked about it. You're acting like you don't care. You buy stuff. You even go and buy chapati and ugali and you pack it and you eat very well. You party or you go with your friends, but you don't talk about
how much is chapati.
I'm just saying, that's it. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to exaggerate. You get, and then you didn't say anything about it. That is totally wrong.
I don't know.
Then, now listen, if I ask you to lend me money, right? If I'm very intentional and I feel like this is the right thing to do and it's close to the week I'm supposed to pay you back and I don't have the money yet, bro, I will reach out to you. I should be worried. Maybe this person really needs this money back. I'll reach out to you. Yo, Festus, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure I can do it this week, but I assure you, I'll try my possible best. telling you that alone makes you feel like this person is thinking about it
Yeah, it
without
really
you
cares.
asking.
Yeah. I think we need people
You
like
understand?
you.
You understand what I'm saying? Without you asking them to give you the money back, then you know that this person is actually very intentional. So eventually, when this person have that money, now you also that out of that process, the art of him just chatting you up will make you trust him more. You understand? You feel like this person is not trying to just get your money and run away.
You know, there is a client who I worked for them last year.
Yeah.
In May. We got to do a project and they paid a deposit and they were like, okay, we're going to clear the balance soon. A balance of 130,000.
Yeah.
And I'll just be seated. 2 weeks goes by. The guy goes, hey, Festus, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm going to certainly send the money.
Did you message him first?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
He could just kind of randomly text me, hey, I still remember you. I'm going to send you the money before the end month. I don't usually like talk to my clients in that way. I don't usually like remind my clients, hey, where is the money? That I'm not that kind of a person.
Okay.
In as much as the business will a bit kind of suffer, I am not that kind of a person to ask for money from clients. So this client would be like, hey, I'm going to send in the end month. I'd wait to the end month. The guy didn't send the money. It got to 5 months later.
Wow.
And I got really concerned about this client. I was like, bro, why is this guy not sending me the money? I want to chat him up. And he says that they are experiencing a bit of a challenge in their company, but the guy's going to send me the money. Waited for more than 7 months later.
Wow.
The guy just keeps telling me I'm going to send the money. I was like,
crazy.
This guy doesn't really have $1,000 to pay me back. I threatened the guy. I told him, bro, they even went ahead to use another videographer for their jobs.
That's crazy.
Right? If at least they would be giving me consistent gigs and they'll be like, hey, let's work on this campaign, let's do this. At least I'd even forget about that money if they're constantly paying me. But this guy went ahead, they cut me off completely. They don't even talk to me anymore.
That's crazy, man.
They went ahead to even shoot another campaign totally with someone else. And I was like,
My bro said, You see the mistake you made. I feel like
I didn't make a mistake.
Okay.
See,
Should I tell you the mistake?
you'll tell me the
right.
mistake after
All right.
I've told you that I received the money.
Okay.
So I went to chat this guy. I was like, bro, I'm going to draft a demand letter. I drafted a demand letter and sent it to my advocate, to my lawyer. I was like, put this on a stamp. I went ahead to actually tell this client that, yo, if you're not going to pay me by Monday, I want you to pull down all the videos that we've done together. I don't know if I wasn't, of course, going to do that. I'd never do that. Even if the guy didn't pay, even if the guy wouldn't pay me for even 2 years, I'd never do something like that, of course, just because of $1,000. I'm just checking your accountability as a man. Like, yo, you gave me a promise. So should I be worried about anything? I asked this guy that he should send me the money. I was very serious. I sent him the demand letter. The guy paid me the money with ease because he's now trying to protect the brand.
Wow.
He told me, we need to maintain this relationship. Which relationship are we maintaining? And you talked to me 7 months ago.
Oh my God.
Bro, I don't know what's happening with clients, honestly, sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why we suffer as creatives here in Kenya. Now, tell me, what was the problem with me?
Okay. I don't know if you're actually talking about this in terms of the conversation we were having earlier on regarding Kenyans, like you lending them money and not paying you back. I don't know if we are still talking about that, but then this is quite different because when I'm talking about lending to people and people not paying you back, it's totally different because I wouldn't even want to lend a stranger money. I'd rather help a stranger than lending them money.
Yeah.
But this is business. I feel like the mistake you are making is that you feel you want to be a good man or you want to be a good person, so you don't want to hurt anyone,
Yeah.
There's not you, bro. I've said, see, you're not a good man. You can't be. See, without God in your life or the help of the Holy Spirit, you cannot be good. A man can't be good. If it is your right for you to do something, do it. It doesn't make you wicked. In as much as it's not a sin, and by law of the country,
Yeah.
you have a right to that. You should do it. That's foolishness actually for you to feel like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not that kind of person. No.
What?
A real businessman or a man that really wants to be successful wouldn't think about that.
Yeah.
Fight for your right. If you don't fight for your right, there's no problem. You keep living your life. If you fight for your right, it's also not a bad thing. There won't be a problem. The only difference is that you're going to get what belongs to you. Are you getting me?
I've been that kind of a person.
Now you have to change that perspective because it's business. There's nothing like I'm a good person when it comes to business. The only thing that you should think about is this right for me to do or is this wrong? If it's right, do it. If it's not, don't do it. There's nothing like, oh, is this good or am I a good person if I do that when it comes to business? Like you said, how would you boldly say, oh, I know I've been going through all this. I didn't want to get the money and I know my business will suffer. Are you willing to allow your business to suffer and allow other people grow? This is not K-drama, bro. It's not Nigerian movie where you be like, come on, maybe this person did you bad and now, one day they will suffer. Bro, it's a real world, man. You'll be the one to suffer. You suffer like Lazarus and you eat those crumbs that is falling from the rich man's table and then you die. Even if you're going to go to heaven, you suffer on earth. But bro, you have to understand when it comes to business, stand by your right. There's not, it even, as a matter of fact, it makes you a smart person and it makes the brand or the client, whosoever you're working with, respect you more. You see, assuming you did this thing you did way back, maybe after 2 months or even 1 month, that same guy will call you again to work with you. I assure you.
Because I'm like, this guy stayed with my money for a long time.
Let me tell you something.
I didn't ask
you are dealing with people with experience. You are not, when you deal with clients that you're working, people that has company or have a brand or have a business, bro, those people have experience. I don't know if you understand. And when they find out that you are inexperienced, they take advantage of you. But once they find out that you are actually very experienced, they want to work with you more. So you don't think because you didn't get the money from him, he's going to like you. He's going to understand that, oh, this guy is actually a cool guy and just bring the $1,000 and just get. No, they don't do like that in business.
He didn't even care about me anymore.
You understand? But when it comes to people like your friends, family, or just maybe like upcoming creator or just anyone you want to help, now that's a different case. Are you getting me? But this is a full business, a brand making money with your video. Don't ever make that mistake again.
Yeah, I've come to understand that because initially when I was starting out, or I'd be the kind of guy who'd be working. I'm just like, I'm just going to work anyway just because of exposure.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this video. I'm not even going to ask for money from the client.
Wow.
I'm just going to be like, the prophet. So I was like, oh, if I don't really demand for money from the client, the client is going to like me more. They're just going to refer me to more
them
people.
Now, your girlfriend. You want to make them happy.
Bro, you're just trying to really make the client happy. And I've come to realize something. Bad people are very successful in business, bro. The people who don't care about you, they don't care about your feelings, they don't care whatever you do.
Why did you even call them bad people? I want to ask you, why did you call them bad people?
Oh, it's because they demand their rights.
They are not bad people.
Oh, actually, they are just bold people. They are not bad people.
They are not bad people.
Us as just the normal people, just see them as bad people.
And that's why a poor man remains poor.
Okay.
That's giving and demanding. If, for example, if I'm a giver, I'll give you because I'm a giver. It has nothing to do with transition, like maybe we're having a transaction or something. But when we have an agreement, we have agreed to do a particular thing. Even God himself had a deal with Abraham. he asked Abraham to leave his father's house,
There was a
and he promised him
covenant.
a son. There was a covenant. A covenant is like an agreement.
Yeah.
You know, right? You have to keep your part. Let me keep my part.
Mm.
Abraham kept his part, and God blessed him. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
A lot of people breaks agreement, like you like just like covenant. You broke the agreement you have. There should be a repercussion to that. It doesn't make you evil. So my point is, when you are doing business, let your mind be about the business. You are not seeing anyone. There's nobody you are seeing other than the business there. The only thing you are seeing is that business, the brand, not the people. It's the brand. Are you getting me? It's the brand. So you are not hurting anyone because you're fighting for your rights. So assuming the moment that incident happened, and even you took so long. 1 month is even so long. 1 month is even so long.
Man, I like the guy. I like the lady who approached me. We had a beautiful
You need to
meeting.
listen to Alex Omoze. See,
Yeah, I
worst
already
thing,
know where
the worst thing
problems-
you can ever do as a businessman or as an entrepreneur is for you to make your client your friend at first. Your client should be your friend after a successful deal.
Yeah.
You treated me well. I also delivered as well. We didn't have any issue. I gave you what you want. You gave me what I want. That's the French. That's the only friendship language you should have.
Yeah. At the same time, you see, even if maybe there are some clients as well who maybe wouldn't have paid you much, but at least they get to connect you with, let's say, Njeru. Njeru gives you a deal of 250,000 when this guy was paying you 50. This guy again, yes, he pays you, but doesn't pay you that much, but this guy pays on time.
Okay.
They're always clear on what they want, and they're always clear on what they expect.
True.
You don't have any grounds of arguing or whatever it happens.
Yeah, it
but
happens.
this guy, connects you with more opportunities. So
Have it happened to you before? Be honest.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
experienced this particular thing?
okay,
Be honest.
yeah, I have experienced this particular thing right now.
From a
with
client
my-
that didn't pay you well, then he connects you to another client that was paying you well, like and
Yes.
was coming through for you.
Yes,
Fine.
that's true,
Okay.
and it's actually a beautiful thing, and it's something rare to
So
find.
are you saying that?
You know that, right?
Sorry?
It's very rare to find.
Okay, now are you saying that you are going to risk your business doing those things?
Of course not. Of course not.
These things happens. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, let me say it this way. As a Christian, let me say it based on being a Christian or based on your faith. If you feel like you want to help a client because maybe this client really don't have the money,
Yeah.
I just want to help this person, that's fine.
Yeah.
The moment you do that and then the person actually appreciates you and connects you, then it means your good way has paid. But then you having the mindset that, oh, I'm going to help this client since the client doesn't have, maybe this client is going to connect me to a different client that will pay me well. That's a bad
Yeah. That should
way
not
to
be
think.
the mindset
Shouldn't
into
be
the
the mindset.
business, right?
Let your help not come with expectation at that moment.
Okay, I can say again, you should help from a point of, is it something that you love? So that later on in life, when you realize that maybe this person kind of cut you off, probably maybe you had disagreements, or this person got someone who's better to do their job. They got probably a better videographer to work on that. And then now, since Jamie can't fit into this space right now, and then they now cut you off, I feel like it shouldn't hurt you if you were coming from a perspective of loving the work.
Yeah, exactly. Now
If
you're
you
talking.
loved to do it, if you actually know from your heart that you
Yes.
transformed that brand, you shouldn't be hurt by the fact that they
True.
moved on.
Now you're talking.
Yes.
Now this is how you should be. If we can actually cultivate this kind of mindset, bro, nobody will take your peace of mind away from you. I know it's not easy. I know sometimes I might even do the same thing you are doing, work for a client for free, and then it has happened to me. I've worked with a brand. You get, they only paid me half of the money, and then I was like, don't worry, I will use my own money. I will take the models. I will even book apartment. I just want the business to grow. At the end of the day, they left. But the truth was, I genuinely wanted to help.
Yeah.
So
And you grew,
it
right?
didn't actually hurt me
Yeah.
because at that moment I wanted to help, and I've learned something from it. But just imagine that I had so much expectation, bro. I'll just be heartbroken, and it will
That's
discourage me from what I'm doing. I feel like maybe this is how it is.
I'd say for such kind of gigs, go all in with the mindset of getting better in your work.
Yeah.
And getting better for them. Because once you get better for them, you of course know that they might take away just a little bit of joy from you, but at least they won't take away your skill.
True.
If you get to a point where you get hurt just because of something, but then at least your skill is still in check, you even got better working on that thing.
True.
I can say it's not a loss.
True.
It's actually a growth, because you get to this point where you'll work with someone, they'll use you.
True.
They'll use you, get to the next level.
Yeah.
But you'll get to learn from that perspective. It's just a staircase.
True.
You'll get better from the mistakes that you learned at that specific client and at that specific company that you got to work for.
True.
And when you now move on to the next company because of your productivity, productivity is something that will not go unseen. Productivity is something that once you start moving, it's like a bicycle. You get here, someone wants you to do this, you move. You get here, someone wants you to do this, you move, you move, you move, you move. And this guy talks about success is a continuous realization of a worthy ideal. If you have a worthy ideal, I'm a videographer, I'm into marketing. I build the marketing right now working for Jamie's company, and I've transformed your brand. But you didn't pay me that much. You didn't expose me that much, but I got to learn by transforming your brand. That is success. Should I move to the next spot? That is a worthy realization. Now, I'm realizing I'm getting better for you. Let me move to the next ideal. And that is actually what success is, bro.
That's very true.
Getting better every day.
Talking about success and productivity, it's amazing, bro. You know, when I left the UK, man, you see, no one would understand your story better than yourself. No, see, people will understand, relate to an extent, but they won't really understand the depth of your story because you were the one that lived it. Bro, I was in the UK, and I can tell you for a fact that in my like when you talk about my old self, I would say that back then I was living better than now. I had my car.
You guys were in like gang.
Yeah, I had my car. I was living all right. I had money in my bank to an extent. You know, I was driving a very nice car. I was living okay, peace of mind.
Yeah.
But then my friends told me about Nairobi. They asked me to leave the UK and come to Nairobi and check it out. I don't know the kind of mindset I have, but I know it's something that is so hard for people to do actually.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Nairobi, okay, let me try it out. I came to Nairobi, and maybe this is God's way of directing me. And then I came first month. I stayed for a while. I loved the country. I was like, okay, I had no idea on what I'm going to be doing when I get here. I know I wasn't even coming to work, because I told myself I wasn't going to do 9 to 5. I want to grow my business. I want to have my business. I want to be successful on my own. And then I traveled back to the UK again. Then I sold my car. I sold some of my properties. I dashed my TV out to my friends and all that. And I came to Nairobi and I started my journey. At first, it felt like I didn't know what I was doing, bro. I was so scared. And I was confused. But God kept sustaining me to an extent. Then, wait, hold on. I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Then I was able to connect with Basi here in Nairobi after we've left for a while. And then Basi connected me to a community. I was able to get to know Rotimi. And then from Rotimi started Fitbit. I was able to join Fitbit. And from Fitbit, I was able to meet you. Look at the connection. I had no idea where this journey was going, but I just trusted God that, okay, let me just see where this is taking me to. Just like when Abraham asked, God asked Abraham to leave his father's house. I know I've said it before, but this is the closest example I could give. And then I meet you. I thought, oh, I've met someone that will make my brand better. But I didn't know that it was for a different mission. And then I met you, and then you started grading my video, posting nice videos. I didn't have experience about it. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I really love what this guy is doing. I think I can do it. And ever since then, since last year, February, I started learning how to color grade. See how far I've built myself. This is something I've never had in my life. And if I didn't come to Nairobi, I would never have realized that I could do something like that, meeting you. See how life brought me all the way from UK down to Nairobi to meet someone called Festus that made me realize that I can
from
actually,
a village.
yeah, that I can actually do something like this.
Wow.
Are you getting me? That I've always wanted to do. I was always curious how they used to make videos look so nice, and I saw you were doing it. I thought maybe people doing those kind of things as professionals, like those white dudes in the UK and the US, and no African man. When I met you, I was like, God, this guy can do this. I don't used to tell you, but I was like, bro, this is so amazing. How is this guy doing this?
Yeah.
It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like, oh, I just met you, and no, I feel like it was divine.
It's something that that speaks to me deeply, because we've been friends not for more than 3 years, and I've had friends who have even been friends for more than 7 years, right? So a gap of 7 years, I mean a gap of 5 years, right? I've told you things that I never told my friends. I've gotten to a point where I trusted you more than I did my friends.
True.
You know, sometimes they say, be careful who you share your news with.
Yeah.
But be more careful who you share good news with.
True.
I've been friends for some of my friends for more than 5 years, right? But I haven't been able to share the good news or my plans with them. And I don't know why. But you kind of coming into my life has been something really beautiful.
True.
And I'm so grateful to God that in as much as I have my skill, I have him, something really very important.
Yeah.
He's given me people.
True.
I'm grateful for you. I even told you the way I got my video that went viral, the one that I shot in the village, the techno video. And so I was telling God, I really want to get more bookings. I want to get more bookings from this video. But you know what? When you're actually a follower of Christ, your life is going to be deceptively slow.
True.
You're going to feel like you're always behind, and you're always going to see your friends, and you'll be like, oh, my friends are being blessed, but then I'm not. I got to that trap, and I cried a lot. Do you think I can actually cry?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Men cry.
Yeah, men do actually cry. So I cried a lot, and I was asking God about, God, I really want you to do something in my life. You haven't done much. I was always lamenting to God. And then it got to this one point where I was supposed to meet this investor.
Yeah.
Okay, let me not even talk about the investor right now. Someone randomly on TikTok texted me. I was getting a lot of DMs at that time, but it didn't transform into something that we can say it was a significant gig.
Yeah.
Everything was like, hey bro, hope to see you. Hope we can work together. Hey, how can I join your team? I really want you to teach me. A lot of people came to my DMs asking me to teach them how to color grade, how to edit, how to do sound design. Even some were offering me like work, and then once I tell them the price, they disappear. They vanish. But there is this just one really special conversation of this guy, not very flashy guy, but just someone with around, let's say, 2,000 followers. Nothing was really interesting. And the bro said, "Hey bro, I am in Kenya next week. Let's meet up." He said, "I am in Kenya next week. Let's meet up." I was like, why didn't he say even I will be in Kenya? I was like, who's this guy, or where does he come from? At that point, my life was kind of falling apart, because that is the point that I wasn't doing techno videos. I'm trying to do my own stuff. At the same time, I want to do stuff for my previous company, or rather my previous space. And I was very stranded, and I actually gotten to a point that I'm just gonna start selling cars. I have good videos. I can just like kind of create car content and make it work out. I went to this place. This guy was like, "Come on, you're gonna be using my cars. You can take them whatever you want to shoot any content." And so I went there. This guy gave me like 3 drivers. Went to Ngong Hills.
3 drivers.
3 drivers, 3 cars. Bro, this
Wow.
I don't even know how this guy trusted me, honestly. But one thing about me is that whenever I do something that I feel like, hey, it seems I don't really like this thing, I kind of almost chuck out really easily. And that day after our shoot, I had this girlfriend. She was bombarding my calls. I had not gotten a haircut for a long time, but the only thing that I had was my blazer. I was actually looking very presentable, because that day we were selling a Range Rover. And this guy, just a random number calls me, and he's like, "Hey brother, I'm in Kenya. Let's meet. Can you come to this apartment?" I was like, "Dude, who do you think you are? Why would you have to invite me into your apartment?" I was like, "Bro, unfortunately, I'm not." But there was just something that tells me, go meet this guy. But I was like, I don't think I should actually meet this guy. There was just the back and forth. But I was in Prestige, and he asked me, "Where are you?" I told him I'm in Prestige, and he was like, "Can you come to Lavington? Let's then meet in the office in IHUB." So I came to IHUB. I came to realize later that this guy, his name is Isaiah, God-fearing guy, and he texted me on TikTok because of just one line that I had written on TikTok. The line says, "I have touched the hem of his garment."
Wow.
Those are really powerful words.
I swear, bro.
And this guy was like, bro, the reason why I texted you was because of that line, because in as much as everyone says they are Christian, there are things that people could do that actually have a deep meaning.
True.
And I'm very sure probably this guy went through my TikTok account and saw that, a while ago I was actually trying to be preaching. Remember that point, right? Yeah. And I used to be like, my videos aren't really getting much views, so maybe this is not the thing that I should be following, right? I got to question myself a lot at that point. And this guy, we met, and he was there with his friend. His name is Gilbert. These are great people. They were having conversations. They're like, "We're Christians, but we're builders." I asked this guy, "What does he do?" He's like, "I have a smartphone company that I'm building." I was like, "Bro, why do you have to build a smartphone company? Can't you just like..." This guy, by there, used to work in the president's office of his country.
Wow.
But he decided to chase his dreams. Bro, I got to get a different perspective of Christianity that taught me that you should be impacting human life. You should be productive. You should put your work first in terms of, there's a lot of people who say that my work is distracting me from God.
Yeah.
When actually people should be happy that they have work.
Yeah,
some people don't have work. I used to
think the same way as well.
Yeah, you told me that. And you almost got me to being lazy because I was just always praying.
This is similar thing I told you yesterday.
You told me
I felt like this is actually distracting me. You were like, no, that's not true.
Yeah, because when you work with your hands, it's worship to God.
True.
You have to work as hard as you were, as if you were alone, and pray as much as if you were to totally depend on God. You understand?
True.
Work as if you were to fully depend on yourself, and pray as if you were to fully depend on God. So these guys were like, we are Christians, who we are builders. And I was like, wait, isn't Christianity all about praying and just speaking in tongues in your house, and then God is probably going to provide us? I was like, haha, jokes on you, Festus. Christians are building. Christians are productive. Christians are working hard out there, bro. Because this guy looked at his life. He had a Range Rover. I was like, bro, how is this guy affording all that? Tells me he's an entrepreneur. And this guy says, I want us to start something. These are the people who actually talked to me to leave the company, my previous company, because we kind of had an issue with my co-founder a little bit. But it's just business. We got to a point of an understanding where we can't work together. Let's just move on. And these are the guys who've changed my life. They've spoken to me as a brother.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to God for bringing such people as you and Kina Isaiah, who've changed my mindset, bro. These are people who get to be genuine to you and show you a direction. Even if it will get to a point where Gilbert and Kina Isaiah will just run away from me, I'd be happy, because they showed me the way.
Yeah.
They showed me that this is what the man should do.
Yeah.
I didn't get into their circle and start to become a heavy drinker. I got into their circle and start to think big, to think of how productive I could be, or what value could I add into their lives. And it's something really beautiful, because, bro, you know, a wealthy person, they can't give you their time.
True.
They can't give you access easily into their lives.
True.
And for me to get to talk to these great people, for even us sitting in the office for more than 5 hours, bro.
Wow.
Really? That is something amazing.
Wow.
And I didn't used to see that.
Wow.
This one time I was at cafe in Karen, the hub. I was thinking, God, I was so frustrated. I was like, I don't even have a camera. I don't even have anything. God, what have you given to me? I was just shouting all over the place. I was angry.
You were blaming God?
Yeah, I was blaming God, and I was blaming everyone. And I was scrolling. I got to come across this sermon by Joshua Selman that he says, when God starts to elevate you, He doesn't give you money. You know what He gives you? People. He connects you with great people.
Very true.
And those great people will respect you, and you'll actually get to know that, oh, actually God is doing something in my life. Because fast wealth and fast money comes with a certain ego.
True.
But God doesn't want to build me that way. He wants to build me slowly. To a point of, yes, I'm going to be a billionaire, but I'm going to be a billionaire with, a chilled billionaire probably. And who knows about my purpose? Who puts my purpose first?
True.
Of course.
Yeah.
And a guy who's actually impactful in other people's lives. And that is what I think. No, I'm not even thinking. That is what God certainly did in my life. He gave me people. He gave me the skill. And you know what's the most beautiful thing I have in my life is His grace, bro.
True.
The knowledge that He's given me. That every time I'm supposed to head outside, I'd call my grandma and be like, hey, Batiem, I want you to pray for me because I'm going to this meeting. And she'd be like, okay, what are you doing right now? I'd be like, I'm just chilling in my bed, and my grandma would pray for me.
Wow.
It would even got to a point where I'm broke, and I called my grandma, like, Grandma, I'm really broke. I need money. Can we pray together?
That's beautiful, bro.
I've never told you that, by the way,
Yeah.
because I don't know. But my grandma really, really, really prays for me. And it's not the knowledge that God gave me in my time of building, in the time that God has always been silent. And He might have not been given me like a lot of answers.
Yeah.
But God has shown me His face through the things that I see happening in my life. Look at meeting you up. It was so random at Fitbit. You are wearing a green jacket with your headphones and a gray sweatpants. And you came to me with Jackie, and Jackie was like, what is wrong with people here in this Fitbit? Everyone kind of like have an agenda. It seems you and I don't have one. I was like, Jackie, don't worry.
Like what
Yeah,
does she mean?
because she was kind of like, everyone is just coming into a run club just to escape something, really. I once told you that run clubs, it's not about running. It's just maybe 10% of the people who actually come to a run club wanting to run, but 90% of the people are just kind of like trying to escape their reality.
That's true.
And now everyone would just be there faking their smiles, trying to be happy. You also, man. And, girls will be like, we're going there just because of we came for the niggas. Actually, I once saw a girl post something like that, and she was like, we came for the niggas. I was like, wait. And so Jackie was telling me, everyone has an agenda. What do you think is our agenda? I told Jackie we're here to run. And on the first day you came and talked to us.
Oh, that was your first time running?
Yeah, that was our first. No, I used to run, of course.
No, I mean running with Fitbit.
Yeah. I'd never been to Fitbit before. And I'm actually grateful to Fitbit.
Bro, like, can you imagine? Like, it's crazy.
We were just about to leave. And this guy was like, hey, bro, how are you doing? Bro, Jamie. Bro, I don't think you need to be that friendly to people.
Your first time, okay, if I wasn't, you see, I wouldn't have met you. Bro, it was your first time. And it was the first time I was meeting you as well.
Right.
It's not like I've seen you before, and then and then immediately. So you see, sometimes, yes, being too friendly can be bad.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it is God directing your steps to meet certain people.
Yeah.
You understand? But, let's assume that I didn't meet you. Obviously, we won't be here.
Probably.
I wouldn't have learned what I've learned from you others. Why? And I wouldn't have gotten some kind of experience. And this likewise yourself.
Yeah.
So I just think that, this is just destiny.
It's destiny, bro.
This is just destiny.
Bro, every time I see...
Do you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Because you think I'm kind of like, it's funny because you think I'm kind of like friendly. But then my kind of friendliness is like from afar. I'm kind of like friendly to you, and when I don't feel like, this person doesn't have to be in my life.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But there's something you said today though that is quite different from that. I feel like I also need to kind of like think about it and practice it as well. But I just need to make sure that not letting people into your life is different from not giving people access.
Yeah.
It's two different. If you give someone access to chat, even though they don't know much about you, just that little slight access they have into your life can actually cause a lot of things, especially if they're the wrong people.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? So, and it's also different from, even though these people are good people, you shouldn't just let them in. Now you're giving them access to be around, but you have not given them access in, because if they are not supposed to be in, then they should be where they are. But if you force them to be in, that same people you think they are good, they may be a bad person to you, but then in the sight of God, or probably in the sight of other people, they are good people. Why? Because they're not supposed to be there.
What do you think is a really weird habit that you find us Kenyans have?
Okay. In Nigeria, when you see an elderly person, like maybe in the morning or like at any given time, we usually just, greet them, good morning, ma.
Even if you don't know them.
Even though you don't know them, as long as they are older than you, you just walk past them. It's a cultural thing. I'm not saying everybody in Nigeria does it, but it's a cultural thing. When I came to Kenya newly and I greet someone older than me, they'll just look at me and be like, who's this person? And I was like, why are they just ignoring me? I was like, it's kind of weird. And then you see someone way older than you, and then you calling them by their names. you see someone that is old enough to be your father, you be like, hey, Fred, how you do? No, bro.
We call them Wemze.
In Nigeria, you can't call someone way older than you and old enough to be your dad by their names, even if they are not your dad. You have to respect people.
Yeah. Kenyans here in Nairobi are very scattered in terms of ethnicities. And you get to meet some people. Let's say if I am a Kalenjin man.
Yeah.
If I'd hear someone in the street speaking Kalenjin, I'd be like, who is that guy? And I'd just be interested. Like, we kind of, it's not being tribalic, but I just feel like Kalenjin people kind of like love themselves. They love to be home. And they'd be like, oh, so where are you from? And then we kind of connect that way. And then there is other tribes that they probably don't even care about themselves.
Yeah.
It
happens.
There's diversity in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And Nairobi is a capitalist city.
Yeah.
It's not like we are all together, like, in Nigeria, you just be speaking pidgin and, you're all together. You guys are actually a happy country, honestly. I think Nigerians are very happy. Here in Kenya, you'd be waking up with your own stress. You even you meet, it doesn't matter if you're meeting an old man who's like, bro, people actually do kind of speak to each other disrespectfully at some certain point.
Wow.
Yeah, because you'd even find some people actually getting rude to the drivers. You'd get some people there rude to the border guys. They're not really kind. In as much as we are really kind and we're good people, we don't have that culture of building a rapport with people.
Yeah. True.
We don't connect with people that easily. I'd be, whenever we are on set, we usually talk about a guy. His name is Jethro. Jethro. Manze uko fiti, Jethro.
You are calling their names.
Yeah, Jethro he has a daughter of my age.
Yeah.
We'd be chilling like we're just guys, bro. We're just like buddies. There's this guy, his name is Aaron. Aaron is really old. Probably has grandchildren.
Wow.
We'd even nickname him on
the
set.
one,
No, not that one. Not the young Aaron. This guy was our sound recordist in the movie.
Yeah.
This guy would just be chill guys. We'd even nickname each other. Bro, nicknaming them. But it's not a thing in our culture, though. We try to respect everyone.
Yeah.
We try, but we don't have that level of actually trying to build a rapport with anyone. Let me ask you a question. If you guys Nigerians speak calmly, would you die?
Bro, everybody have their own way of, it's just
Will
our
you
culture.
die?
Not all Nigerians speak loudly, though.
What do you mean, bro? I've experienced every type of a Nigerian person.
You haven't.
No, bro.
Nigeria is a big country. You can't tell me with the few people you've experienced here.
Bro, if we go you, Daniel, David, Godwin into a mall right now, I'd be so ashamed, bro. You guys always
listen. We live our life.
No, bro, you can't just talk calmly.
No, why this is life.
It's okay.
Bro, this is life.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be calm all the time? You have so much energy in you, brother. Be happy. Sometimes you just want to be a vibe.
True.
Just imagine all of us were here and we're just talking like old grandpa that is 80 years old. Bro, conversation sometimes will be boring. Sometimes you just have to have that energy, just be, when we play game, when we're arguing, just guy stuff. As long as you're not insulting anybody, you're not offending anybody, it's just how life is, brother. I have a question for you, Festus. Right now, with the way your life is going,
Yeah.
and all that, I know you believe God is directing you.
Yeah.
But what is actually your goal for this year? You say something that you realize that you actually want to start something that impacts people, to help people. Now, what are your plans? What are your goals this year that would help other people?
In as much as I have always seen people who I might have thought that they are better than me in any way, in as much as I've always seen people who act cooler than I am, in as much as there's this filmmaking side of me,
Mm-hmm.
I know that there is something way bigger inside of me, because a lot of people have actually come to me and be like, you've changed my life. A lot of people have come to me and be like, you have no idea how much you inspire me. And so I get to think,
Mm-hmm.
how could I possibly inspire more people, get to talk to them about love, about God, about their purpose, about how they can be better, about how they can always be the person they want to be.
Sure.
I have always known that there is a bigger calling for me.
Sure.
Aside from marketing, aside from filmmaking, I want to get to talk to people and to change their life. That's
Should I say this is one of the reasons why you're having this podcast as well?
That's the reason why I have the podcast.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I want to get to a point where my son will watch this podcast. Hey, I love you guys, my sons. I know you're gonna watch this in the future.
What about your daughters?
Oh, my daughters too.
Don't leave them out, bro.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave them. So I feel like there is a higher calling for me. I have a way I can talk to someone and get to change their lives. I have spoken to a few people who actually got to stop their addiction and be followers of Christ.
Yeah.
I've asked God to anoint my vocals to a point that people can actually sit and listen to me.
you. Yeah.
And God has done that. And initially, whenever God would do that, I would go talk to women. You know, when God gives you His grace and His blessings, He doesn't limit it. Be like, this won't work on me, and this will work on my work. No, God gave me that chance, and sometimes I just go talk to women and talk to, but I'm actually a very good salesperson as well.
That's beautiful, bro.
So there is something bigger in me. In as much as I have been mentored and became someone really, really big in my industry, I come from a village, a really small village. But the only thing that really made me where I am right now, probably, is because my dad is such a hardworking person. And he's always wanted us to be successful, to become better each and every day. He taught us to read and read. He bought us storybooks. And so I ask myself this question. How can I change access even to the people in my village? Because, you can't change the world when your house is still dirty.
True.
Charity begins at home, right?
True.
And so I get to think there are people who are building things that are impactful to people's lives. Let's say even this guy is building Zingalinga. The reason why I love the brand is because this brand, if I had Zingalinga when I was growing up, bro, I'd be a proper English speaker right now, and probably I'd be someone way better even with the public speaking, right?
True.
It's because I had storybooks.
Yeah.
But now this guy thinks of an idea of digitalizing the early learning space because that's where we're headed, using AI, etc., etc. So if we go to the grassroots and actually make those children in the village become better and get to gain the same access as the child here in Nairobi and just have all that equality, the same upbringing, definitely, bro, there's going to be so much change. And this podcast speaks not only to me, because I listen to it as well. It's going to speak to someone, a stranger, who didn't know me properly, who needed to hear your story. Someone probably in the UK is probably stranded right now. And they're like, oh, what should I do? I really want to. Then they might stumble on this podcast and be like, oh, so this guy actually had to go to Kenya. It might as feel to other people that you were stooping low, but God had a purpose for you. He was like, I want you to go to Kenya. It might feel low to people, but it's growth for you. You know that, right?
True.
Yeah, so people will get to be motivated. I don't want to be cool. I don't want to be the clubbing person. I don't want to be the guy who hangs around women and stuff. I just want to be a person with principles, a man who gets to understand his purpose more, and not only to be a reservoir, but a fountain. Every knowledge that I ever asked God to give it to me, let me find a way to channel it into other people, into the young people that we get motivated and get to change their lives, man.
You know, you said something. I know it's kind of like a bit, you know, I don't know if it's kind of like a bit off though. You said we're heading there in terms of AI. So because of what you said brought this curiosity. Now I'm curious, what do you really think about AI? Do you think AI would do good to us, more good to us than harm, or it will do more harm than good in the near future, based on what's going on right now?
For me, AI has made me more creative. It's made me understand. My chat GPT, honestly, is very brutal to me. And it's made me understand different perspective of business. I've got to learn what is value proposition, what is a runway, what is a return on investment, what is behavioral economics. I've got to learn so easily and swiftly in AI. For me, AI has been a blessing. Someone else probably has an AI girlfriend.